Attention, attention, overly blunt in this one. First to mention, gotta get your Thursday right for the weekend. Overly blunt podcast for the treatment. Keeping this shit 100 not a notch low. Cause 99 too far from a hundo. New week, new Thursday. OP.
That's how we trying to breed them and cultivate them now.
From the age of a child.
From the level of sperm and egg, if we can, because that's what the level it starts on, is the sperm and the egg. Now, if you cultivate, you have optimal sperm and you have optimal fertilization of the egg happening, you already got a jump on the head start. Then the mother just is gonna just blow everything away when she's vegan and she's a plant-based diet. You know what I'm saying? She breastfeeds the baby, and now her friend does it, and they have a whole group, and then it just keeps on spreading until we pick up enough momentum to where it's becoming a thing, and just even in our, hopefully it's just in our locale, in our immediate locale, and then it just get to spread. And yeah, if you can affect your family first, you've already jumped a big hurdle.
Right.
That's the first step.
You guys have kids?
Yeah, we got a lot of them.
Yeah. You got a lot of them?
A lot of them, man. We got a lot of kids. Far as
how many is a lot?
Altogether, we got a lot of kids we raising. We got biological and also children that's all just our children that's interwoven into our village, basically.
Okay, yeah.
That we influence, basically. And that's all we can really do, is who has the strongest amount of influence over the canvases that we all paint on, you know what I'm saying, which is our babies and the children. Those are the most pure and clean canvases that we have to try to emulate ourselves with. You know what I'm saying? You can paint yourself whatever you want to do. If you want to see the type of person you are, look at the people that's coming up behind you in your wake, you know what I'm saying, that you're walking through.
Yeah.
And the closest people to you. And that's a clear reflection. Just like the old, what was about the fruit in the tree or something? You can tell the fruit by the tree or some shit like that. Or the tree by the fruit. Something like that is basically the
apple doesn't fall.
The fruit, yeah, exactly. The fruit don't fall too far away from the tree. Yeah. So it's just all reflection.
Yeah, too much thumping. But yeah, what's up, y'all? This is the Overly Blunt Podcast. This is a new week. It's a new Thursday, new episode. Got a new guest with me. I'm tapping in again with this whole vegan wave. I had Love Amaro already before. He came and talked his shit about veganism and how we should be converted, and Monsanto and all the farming and all that stuff. Today on the podcast, though, we have none other than Strictly Vegan Soulful Food. Thank you guys so much for coming through all the way from LA. You guys are based in LA, correct?
Yes.
And you guys do this together. It's a family effort. And we have your name again, bro?
Abasi, Naeem.
Abasi.
Yes.
And Meeka?
Yes, it is.
Okay, nice to meet you guys again. Thank you guys so much for coming through. And I've been watching you. I actually came across your page because TF. TF, I followed TF, and he was eating your burgers at the park.
Yeah.
And he shouted you out, and I typed, I'd be lurking like that. I'd be seeing who be plugging who, and that's how I'd be finding my shit. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see what this is about. And I see cause I'm all into right now, and all the vegan vendors and all that shit. So I saw your guys' page, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, cool. It's soul food, vegan soul food, like boom, okay. Because the only person I know that does it is Compton Vegan. And
shout out to TF though.
Yeah, shout out to TF.
Big
Shout out to TF.
TF.
We'll get into TF because I saw you posted him today too. So I'm gonna ask about TF. But yeah, so he posted their account. I started lurking. I'm like, okay, this is dope. And I was more fascinated because it was someone like you that was speaking this holistic, plant-based lifestyle, which I feel like we need more people like you to be on that wave. So I was just infatuated by that, and I was looking at your page for a while too. I was waiting for my timing to hit you up, and you happened to tell me like, hey, how can I go about getting on the show? Which was that was love to me. So. Yeah, I've been watching it, and I see you grind, bro. I see the shit you preach every day, every morning, the just everything you take, the aloe vera water, the ginger cayenne shots, to you actually trying to make it plant-based, because you're not messing with like Beyond and all that other kind of mock meats, and you are making your patties out of scratch, out of straight vegetables. You got growing your own garden. So I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And you all the videos. I've watched every single video, and you talk your shit, and you giving us information. And yeah, so that's why I was like, nah, I need this guy on my podcast.
For sure, bro. I really appreciate that, man. And what we basically trying to do, or not even trying to do, what we are doing is just sharing our lifestyle. Just the way that we live, the way of our life that we've chosen to live, you know what I'm saying? Because we've had this information for a while. We just reverting back to it and just basically putting water on the dry sponge. And it's Strictly Vegan Soulful. If you look at it, it's soulful and not soulful. You feel me? Like soul foods. It's soulful, like food that's full of soul that's put in it, because that's what's actually really happening. And a lot of traditional indigenous cultures, when you have shamans and you have shaman warriors and you have these different type of people that are more so spiritually in tune and have been trained, ordained, or learned in a certain way of spiritual cultivation, where they have become in a position of influence in the tribe, because they are in tune more so. They have taken the disciplines to become more in tune with the Creator, with the infinite intelligence that they all are in tune with. Is this a good reference? Not to go off spec, but Avatar, you know what I'm saying, is a great reference to that. The film Avatar is a great reference to that, to our today's society, and to our demographic and generation. You know what I'm saying? Because it speaks a lot of truth in that, from the pillaging of the indigenous people to the indigenous people's connection with what they called in the movie AY, which is just the all infinite intelligence that's simultaneously everything, and everything is it simultaneously. And they always was just gaining their strength from becoming more in tune with AY. And that's just a play off somebody writing off what they know about us. So why I say that it's soulful foods is because we have taken the disciplines and we still practice our spiritual cultivations to the level of becoming more close with the infinite intelligence, which is the Creator. And when I prepare my foods, I put a lot into it. I put a lot of energy. I put a lot of astral projection before I meditate. I do spiritual cultivation practices before I even cook. You know what I mean? I get in tune as much as I can. And just changing over to this diet itself will bring you back to that, to a certain level. But there's always levels to it.
Right, yeah.
Levels to everything. You just have to maintain the discipline and have the desire and drive to ascend to them.
So when did this vegan journey, or this plant-based journey, or this whole holistic journey begin for you?
The holistic information began. I was basically born to two nationalistic parents that was already into the cultivation of their bodies, for more or less one reason, to become more pure. I can't say the whole reason behind them doing that, yet they come from spiritual backgrounds, and during that time when I was conceived, they were practicing to be in optimal health. My mother was trained to be a police officer. She was a vegan, had been a vegan since she was a teenager. And my father was a lifelong bodybuilder, athlete, and they actually met while she was training. She actually met while she was training, and he helped her train, and then they went from there. You know what I'm saying? And about 2 years later, they was impregnated with me, and she was living a healthy lifestyle. So as I was growing up, I always was in the either or around either parent receiving the information just from the way that we lived. You know what I'm saying? So where it was just normal.
But your parents weren't vegans or anything
Not
like
at the
that.
time.
Okay, yeah.
No, not at the time. But yet they still tried to eat as healthy as they could. And the information of eating healthy was transponded to me because most people don't even have the foresight to want to eat healthy. They just eat just because it tastes good and to get full.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's everybody.
Everybody, yeah. So basically, I had this information growing up, and then I ended up coming back to it as a man, you know, and as a man in my late 20s, and I ended up being a pescatarian for about 12 years, and then ended up getting shot 5 times and got to the point to where I had never had injury like this, so I wanted to heal my body to its most optimal level because I knew how to do it. And it began after that, and that transmitted to the people around me, though. That's why I speak so adamantly and passionately about maintaining the discipline of self, because maintaining the discipline of self is what affects the all.
Right.
You feel me? If you wanna affect the people closest to you, start practicing self-mastery, or try to attain that and have that in the disciplines that you do every day. Raise your standard of self. Basically, maintain a discipline of self, and every day, if you implement just even in incremental or however small you can perceive, or whatever you can take, even if you start off on a small scale, taking incremental steps daily to something that is productive, that is a discipline that will contribute to your elevation mentally, emotionally, and physically, that will ultimately cause your frequency to raise itself. Now, there are other things you can do, but just doing those things itself will change your perception on reality, and your desire, your metabolism will build up. The way that your mind starts working to build up and go faster, because all these things are connected. So I knew this, and that's what I did.
You decided to apply the
formula
to your life. And so you completely just cut off everything, every animal product at that point?
At that point, yes, sir.
And this is before the garden, before growing your food. This is just you.
I had seeds growing families before that. Seeds growing family was a plan I had from prison, and years ago when I was in prison, is the idea of being independent, because from the way that you eat, the way that you choose to eat now, by living like this and the things you do, you become radical and you going against the norm. So you taking revolutionary acts by just eating in a certain way. Yet the revolution is going to start in your mind. For anything that you're going to change, it has to start in your mind first. So in today's norm society, by even eating like this, for the people who paved the way for this, that did it for years, that's a revolutionary act in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. And how did everyone around you react when you were just like, I'm off the bullshit? I'm not indulging in that. I'm not indulging in this.
I was crazy.
You want some meat?
Yeah. Everybody was trying to tempt me.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to tempt my will. Yet over years of solitude, isolation, of torture, of attacks, and just having a desire to want to steal myself and fortify my mind and my emotions, coming from a hell like the prison I did 10.5 years in, and
y'all really be eating crazy shit in there?
Like
or
what?
not? Like, is it really like the food is?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Really?
They don't give you nothing. Like, the food is disgusting. You live a substandard lifestyle of where if you could just existing in general. Subhuman. It's dehumanizing. It's inhumane. Emasculating. All those different things. It's a deep thing, and it was designed to be that way by J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover is the one who mandated full body cavity, nude searches, all those different things is rolled into the mandates in prison to where a prisoner has no rights in those at those times of prison. You have rights in prison now, though. There have been a lot of litigation passed. Yet J. Edgar Hoover implemented these things back then as a young man, as a young in the closet, double life leading, no integrity type of person. You know what I mean?
We already know. AKA the white man.
Yeah.
AKA the white man.
Yeah. I wouldn't say the white man as a collective, yet him, like, as an individual, because he was a half-breed himself. He passed off as white. You feel me? So he wasn't
He was a half-breed himself?
Just like Hitler.
Oh, okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
It's mostly the people who fight like that to prove themselves that they to the allegiance of the power at hand. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
It's like you got some black dudes who want to be white, some Mexican dudes who want to be white because they have some white blood in them or something. You know what I'm saying? They want to be accepted to what they feel is the power at be. You know what I mean? Instead of coming to terms with identity.
Media pushes everything to be Eurocentric.
Everything in the Western world is being pushed to be Eurocentric. Everything is from our diets, the way that we communicate with each other, the way that we dress, the way that we can interact with our women, the way that we raise our children, what we teach our children, the way that we eat, the way that we cultivate our spiritual systems. Everything.
It's all Western beliefs.
Yeah, until we adopt the mentality of having a Western hemispheric brain, which separates everything. The Western hemispheric brain wants to separate and label everything instead of joining everything like all indigenous cultures do, because most indigenous cultures, as you can find out, people, please do your research when I talk these things to you.
Yeah, man.
Do your research and look them up. Rewind this. And
don't believe us. Look it up.
Go look it up and find that in indigenous cultures we use the right hemispheric side of the brain, where we unite things, we tie things together. All things are one.
And you said the Western uses the left side of the. What did you say?
It's a Western dominated brain. Yeah, it's the Western hemisphere culture uses the left side of the brain. They practice that, and we adopt those mentalities and cultures. We adopt that as our own because we see it as a status quo. Because everywhere they have colonized, the system of colonization that they have employed is a system of like a caste system where you have haves and have-nots. And this is what they do. This has been since Roman times when they went with the landlords, with the rulers of the land. And this is when it's been going on ever since. When they use peasants and they intentionally withhold resources from people because they have gathered enough power through land ownership, and through land ownership they bind together in an elite minority. You feel me? An elite minority, and they pull the strings to manipulate to sustain that because everything is a system of self-accumulation and comfort and convenience to the highest and lowest levels.
Fast food.
To servants.
Yeah.
A culture of servants. A nation of servants. Workers.
All because your skin tone or caste is...
Now it's just a system. Now it's just your economic, it's your economic demographic, yeah. It's about economics.
It's classism
really.
now.
Because, and it's been going on. It's just the information is there. Now it's on you. What are you going to do? Now that you have the information.
Everyone's trying to stay asleep, bro.
Now, when I say it's on you, what do you want to do? Sometimes it's not on just them because they are not, they have become GMO humans. Because now you have children that are born docile, that have become more so inclined to be complacent to
that are born docile?
Docile. Docile means more dumbed down.
Oh, docile.
Yeah,
okay,
docile.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's a fact, bro.
Yeah.
And then also, do you think the vaccines also just
Of course.
enhance it, huh?
Of course, the vaccines isn't something else on its own. The vaccine is something else on its own because the vaccine is bioengineered for a certain DNA now, a certain trait in the DNA. So now that the vaccines is looking for a certain trait, it can be engineered to a certain demographic of people that it affect more highly. So we being hit from all sides, and that's the whole thing. That's the urgency and the passion that's within me because I was already passionate, yet not overly so, about the cause and the movement for what we are going and doing. Yet after being shot, because I was being tested to see if this is what I really wanted to do or not, basically. So as I came home and things unfolded before me, you're given a choice. Do you really want to go do this? Do you know what's up the hill? You know if you go run up this hill, by the time you get up there, you're gonna be in top condition and be excelling. Or you could just go down the hill and get rewarded and see everybody you know and get comforted.
Take the easy way.
Take it out. You know what I'm saying?
That's the easy way.
Yeah. And after being not properly detoxing myself either after prison from the waters and the things they injected us with when they gave us vaccinations and the food that even though I chose to eat a certain way, it's still it's water, everything. It's not even water because would you call after if we squeeze the apple in here, would we call it still water?
No.
Would we call it still water if we squeeze the apple in here?
No.
So why would we still call water what we get out the sink after they done put so many different chemicals in there? Why would we drink that? That's not water no more.
Straight
That's
fluoride.
That's a pharmaceutical cocktail. That's literal.
A pharmaceutical cocktail. Wow, yeah.
It's a pharmaceutical cocktail, literally, because just as you said, we would take an organic substance from the earth and squeeze it in this water right here, but we wouldn't call that. Our whole perception would change to this. But our perceptions of the change of what we drink when it comes out our faucet, what we bathe in. And it's loaded with fluoride, chloride, fucking all type of shit.
Especially in our communities.
Yeah. And then why is the water not secured? Why is the water we can walk up to the water reserve, the water basin or whatever right now. Why is that? It's for the population of the whole city. It's for everyone to drink. Why is that not secure like a bank? Why is that not secure like a fucking grocery store?
I mean, if you're not, people that know, they're just trying to kill us slowly, bro. I mean, we all know that, but well, we don't all know that, but people get upset when you start speaking these facts. When you start talking about fluoride,
very much so. People get upset. People get upset when you give them facts about something that they believe in sternly, but they only get upset like this because they have emotional attachment to it because it's their identity is attached to it as well. Now, if you take that away from me, if you take gangbanging away from me, if you take Christianity away from me, if you take this job away from me that I've been working for 40 years, if you take this fucking car away from me, if you take this relationship away from me, who am I? So many people don't know, so they will fight to the death over that. They will break up relationships with their loved ones to hold on to things that they can question. They question themselves even when they're presented with facts. Yet they will hold on to it because they would like to know. There's no identity once you take that away from me. Once you rock someone's core with a fact or a truth that's really shaking it's shaking the colonial helmet that they got on and they seeing the world through. That's because that's all it is from colonialism. Everything that's been happening since they reached the shores of this country has been due to retail, self-accumulation, selling things. All these different things have been building up to the cities you see now. To the cities you see now and the mentalities that we raise our children with that we have right now.
Oh, yeah.
That we have right now and that we watch right now, all as a product of basically capitalism.
Capitalism is a bitch, bro. It's. I mean, how do you feel about it? You think we should be a capitalistic society, or we should rely more on barter system, or how do you feel? Like, so I don't believe in we should be a socialist country either.
Yeah, it's a balance between everything
Yeah.
and the intentions, like using capitalistic endeavors. I mean, using capitalistic means and funds for socialistic endeavors, though. You know what I'm saying? It's a balance between it, though, because everyone should work. Everyone should work for what they have. There should not be a country for those that just accept what they're given. And we have a society of people who just receiving. We want a society of productive individuals. We want to raise our children in societies where their education is nothing more than confidence for them to go out and create.
Right.
And to go out and do as they please. Yet we've raised sound individuals and sound human beings. And that begins with their diet first and what their brains eat next from the information that we give them. Yet the information that we give them, where is it coming from? Where is it coming? What's the source? Is it coming from us? Is it coming from what we've been taught by people who want to use? That we got to go back to the history of that. Why exactly? So
it's just to me, it's funny how people just believe what they've been told. Like when people don't question, when people don't question nothing, that amazes me because it's like you just really believe this because you learned it in school. When we all know the public education is not for us; they're just teaching us some bullshit.
The public education system was purchased by imperialistic and minded man. Rockefeller in the early 1900s purchased the most of the American academic system in the universities and the schools so that they can raise and create
indoctrination
unconsciously, and subconsciously raise workers for an industrial system because the industrial age had just really turned over for Britain. And now the industrial age was coming up for America now because slavery was on the decline and oil was big, yet we needed an industry. Big industry was coming. So this visionary man, yet his intentions may not be true, yet what he did is that he was in the definition of a word, he was a visionary because as these Western minded people practice, they think for 30 to 40 years ahead, 50 years ahead. So what he did put in motion was that we're going to raise a nation of workers. It's just like when you go to school. You ring the bells, like for the teachers, the foreman. You sit at your desk, do your work for the same hours that you go to work every day.
Yeah.
So it's not nothing real. It's not a big leap when you transition over from school to working at a job.
Yeah, it's not. They're preparing you for that.
They're
preparing you to work for somebody else. Even when you go to college, they prepare you not to have your own business, to go work for the employer.
That's something that we should be teaching our children from day one. That's something that we should always teach our children, how to grow their own food, how to sell their and be a supplier.
Where did you get that knowledge from, growing food? Because you know, like, how to grow it, the soil and level. I don't know. You be saying a lot of shit that I'm like, damn, how do you know this?
To begin with, I am just a reflection. I'm a reflection of the people who came together to create each one of us that has come along. And as far as I know, my great grandfather was a sharecropper from Louisiana, an indigenous man, and moved to Arkansas and did the same thing. And his sons, they shared in the practice with him and learned this, if you can't help but learn what your father is doing in a time like that. So it's just something that they picked up. And this was on my mother's side. And my grandfather he always planted things. He always had something growing on my mother's side. And they from Louisiana and Arkansas and came out here. And then my mother in Fresno, which is a big agricultural area in the Central Valley. And they grew stuff out there. And my mother was doing it as a young girl herself. And her father was out there And her grandmother, her mother's side was out there, and they grew stuff always. And on my father's side is indigenous people from Mississippi, and they all grew things always. All my uncles had gardens, and that all stemmed from my grandfather and my grandmother.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like embedded in you.
Yeah, we always had something growing out of my house everywhere on either side.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so now in prison, I've received my education from having a desire to want to not be who I was before I came into prison. Before I went to prison, I was a different person, and in the lifestyle of becoming one of influence and one of wanting to have influence, and that take a toll, and you lose a lot of things in your life. So when you lose a lot of things in your life, that can create a desire in you to not want to repeat that. And I had a desire. I'm the type of person, I only need to learn something one time, a mistake or something like that, not to repeat it. So after losing so much, I had a desire. So for those 10.5 years I was in prison, there wasn't a day that I wasn't reading some type of literature in some subject.
You took advantage of the 10 years? Or
10 years of isolation, yeah.
10 years of isolation
10
by
and a half
yourself?
years. No,
What
not
do you
by
mean
myself. At times I was in a cell, but just being in a cell in that environment and having for months, yeah, sometimes that like a year and a half in isolation by myself, being in the whole and shoe programs and stuff like that, yeah. Yet for not the whole 10.5 years, yeah, at the time I isolated myself even though I was around a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, even though I'll be in
a whole different lifestyle.
Whole different lifestyle. I live like a monk, a very disciplined individual, to where I raised the standard of who I wanted to become and see. I studied nothing but great men and great leaders and great influencers of culture, of all cultures, though.
Meeka, were you with him while he was in jail, or did you know him?
Yeah,
You knew?
I knew him since we were 15.
15. So you've seen this man evolve.
Exactly.
That's amazing. That's dope.
Yeah.
And
man he is today from what he was.
and you, how did you feel when he was like, hey babe, I'm going on this vegan wave?
Actually, I started cooking for him. I started cooking for him after his injury, after he was shot. I started cooking for him. I started making the food for him, preparing, and I actually had to change my whole diet and what I was eating because we had got even closer after the injury.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. So she's been holding you down.
Yeah. Before I went to prison, I had broke her heart real bad, and so we were on and off during prison. And that was just an extra motivation for me because back then, I felt like I was stepping up to where she was in as far as the status and mentality and type of how we were living. She was very educated and I was just a street thug type of dude. And she took the time with me and like I couldn't even tell you who the president was before I went to prison. Like I didn't even care, didn't even think about nothing like that. Yet I can probably quote a number of presidents to you right now from the first one. So and give you history about them, that type of stuff. So
You took advantage of the jail
I
time.
took advantage of every day. By the day one time something happened to me, and that my mentality and my perception on reality was so forward thinking that I was looking for I could be looking towards more time at a certain period of time, and during when I had heard that, I was just thinking in my mind like, man, well, I had been doing it all this time already, so I'm like, well, I could learn a lot in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm gonna have to do. You know what I mean?
You thought you weren't gonna get out?
It was a lot of shit going on in prison.
Okay.
They tried to leave. They tried to give me an indefinite term in prison before I paroled. I was under investigation or things like that, just for being one of non-compliance. of being an individual that is learned and know my rights, and the individual that actually sees what's going on and is not afraid to speak up about it. So they tried to plant knives on me that weren't mine. They did a lot of things. They tried to emasculate me by beating me. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just because I was an isolated individual and didn't participate with the snitch behavior, the fraternizing with the pseudo authority figures, because they're just human beings with a different colored jumpsuit on or a different pair of clothes on that you have.
Right.
And most of them aren't educated at all. So how could you put a person that believes they have pseudo authority over me, and you're not you're pretty much an ignoramus. You feel me? You don't know anything, and you don't have a desire to. Yet they put you in the position of a slave catcher.
Corporate slave.
Yeah. Yeah, so I learned a lot about the dice in there.
It's a different form of slavery, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of reading a lot, ordered a lot of books. I ordered a lot of herbal books. I ordered a lot of gardening books. I watched a lot of gardening programs. You know what I mean? Basically, if I did turn the television on, it'll be something for informative or educational purposes. And just being strict like that on yourself every day. You know what I'm saying? Like guy I had mentioned to you, David Goggins. You know what I mean? Just being die hard. You're only going forward. You know what I mean? You have your blinders on. You gotta stay focused on whatever you're doing, and then you see progress and build momentum in that. No matter what it is.
So a lot of times in there, you just got discouraged. Like, man, I might never see the light. Be out again.
Not all the time, but it was a serious time where an officer tried to plant a knife on me, and I basically had to go against his word of mine because I had a lot of write-ups a lot because I didn't comply and I wasn't in compliance with the people in there for dumb reasons. So I got a lot of what they call 115s, which is a write-up where they give you more time, and the officer can write this on you and give you more time just by saying this, and then come to the hearing that they have a pseudo trial or hearing right there where they have another officer who's a higher ranking officer there, and you're basically talking your word against their word, and they're all, you got some big ass sign say green one team or some shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's basically, but then you have individuals who do read the rules and protocols of that they must follow as well. And when you have someone who reads that and knows that and speaks up for injustices or whatever may be going on, then it's like, whoa.
You were studying the law in there too?
Always.
Oh, so that's why they couldn't get you.
Yeah.
So when you got out, all this knowledge that you acquired throughout those 10 years, all this stuff that you're reading and learning.
So we got out and began the companies.
Right as soon as you got out, we were like, this is what we're doing. Or you were already in talks with her before you got out?
Yeah, she knew about it before I got out. I was just talking to her over the phone. I had a cell phone in there, and we were talking all the time.
What?
Yo, you be seeing them on IG? They be on live and everything. I'm like, yo, how did you get the phone, man? You can text them there now too and everything, huh?
I don't know. Dad wasn't there when I was there. I paroled before that. Yeah.
So you get out. Strictly Vegan Soulful Food starts.
Nope.
No?
Strictly Vegan. I get out. The first company I started was a company that I began for my mother. It's called Jewels by Janet. You guys can find that. It's called Jewels by Janet. And it's on Instagram. That'd be Jewels_by_Janet. And it's basically a beauty wellness line, beauty wellness and care line that I basically just monetized for her and put together for manufacturing distribution and showed her how to incorporate and stuff like that. And to where she already had the other aspect down because she was already making these products prior to this beforehand for her and her friends and
Like
things
the crystal
like that.
stuff and all that?
Yeah, she's very much so into
Okay.
crystal. She's the source of all of what we do basically. And yeah, she's basically the one who is our oracle and is the source of our spiritual ties, really, because she is the The
Source.
yeah, she's basically. So she passed that down. We all while I was in prison, we started practicing the Kemetic spiritual cultivation systems, and she started practicing on her own and studying on her own, and we all started just practicing this from prison. And because that's a great time for isolation and be focused on information and spiritual development itself, because spiritual development it takes a lot of focus, a lot of discipline.
Spiritual development, of course, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I always tell myself I want to get more in tune with my spiritual side. But I pray when I remember to pray. I'm not really consistent.
Why do you pray? Where did that come from? Why do you pray the way that you pray?
Why do I pray the way that I pray?
What spiritual system? Denomination?
Like what I mean, like religion?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up Catholic.
Exactly. You grew up Catholic because that was passed on from your ancestors. That was imposed on Catholicism.
Right.
Catholicism was originated in Rome at the Roman Council of Nicaea. Y'all guys can Google that from Confucius, not Confucius, but Constantine. Excuse me, Constantine, the Roman emperor, is the first person who was in a position to broadcast and impose Catholicism. Was the religion that they created for the unification of Rome under one spiritual system, because Rome has so many different spiritual systems that all these different demographics came in from all these different countries.
Because Catholicism is a form of Christianity, right?
Yes, sir. Same thing.
Same
thing.
thing.
Just a modification of it.
The modification, yeah. And we believe like in the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
That's
closer. That's closer to the to the source though, because Catholicism is based on by the female worship, the mother.
Never thought about it like that, but we do pray to the Virgin Mary and all that.
Exactly, because the Virgin Mary is nothing but the Black Madonna of what the Greeks call Isis, and what the Kemetic people call Aset, and that's Aset and Heru is the Divine Mother and Child. Aset and Heru. Look that up and Google that.
Yeah, I don't know shit about that.
AUSET. That is the origins. You know what I mean? Because that is the first mother and child, and that basically sprang and branched out to all the surrounding areas in that area, all the way to India, all the way to the indigenous cultures that inhabited Taiwan, what we know as Taiwan and Japan. The melanated people of those islands all have similar spiritual systems, yet they do not predate that from that area. So just by studying paleontology and archaeology and anthropology, and you study these things of history and fossil and just carbonization and dating stuff, you feel me? You see that these dates date back deeper over here than they do over here. So by just logical sense, that means that people migrated, took with them the information. And just like fruits and plants, when people leave their place of origin, their DNA modifies. Their DNA modifies to adjust to the area, the geographical locations, because now that you passing different electrical signals through the ley lines of the earth, that means that your DNA is gonna begin over time to change to that area, because the electrical signals in your DNA and the food and for the melon to be given the message to do the things to heal, to protect yourself from the sun. That's the only reason that there is such dark skin, is the protection from the sun, to protect your red blood vessels from the sun rays.
Is it true that the darker you are, the closer you are to the sun?
I would believe so because that's to mean the more original your DNA is.
Yeah, I remember I had a cousin. This is a while ago when I was more ignorant. I had a cousin tell me like, "Oh yeah, man, the darker you are just means you're closer to the sun." And I'm like, "Man, tell a cop that when you get pulled over."
You mean physically? You mean like
But I
physically
guess
as far as distance and proximity?
I mean, I didn't understand. I don't understand this though. I guess the science behind it. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it is a science.
I didn't understand that. I just thought it was so head ass of her to say that when I was just like, okay, if you get pulled, just because I'm closer to the sun, what kind of privilege do I get then? What, I'm gonna get pulled over? You can't say,
as an excuse.
I'm close. Yeah, you feel me? Tell a judge that. They gonna laugh in your face.
Yeah.
So, but now he had mentioned that too, that saying, and I was like, wow, I had like clown my cousin off that.
Melanin's conductive too, so you actually get the nutrients and the energy from the sun.
Exactly, like photosynthesis. Basically.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this all comes from the inside of your brain and your pineal gland.
But that shit's so calcified, bro.
You can decalcify it though.
How do you do it naturally?
It's practices. I've heard.
Cause I still bathe in
sun-gazing.
fluoride water, bro. To be real, you know. That's like, I mean, I try not to use toothpaste. I use, vegan toothpaste. I try as much as I can, bro. But that water and hitting the pores, I'm fucked.
You gotta
fluoride
invest.
smoothie.
You gotta invest in a alkaline machine.
You guys got one of those?
Yeah.
Word?
We got one.
Oh, okay. Oh, you have that Kangen water? That's what you're drinking right there. That's Kangen. I just don't have the
that 8.5 though, bro. 8.5, 9.5 over a long time builds calcification and stones in your kidneys and shit.
Over a long time? 9.5?
It's so rich. It's so many minerals.
Damn, bro. What
so
can't do, man?
You can. You might be pissing out rocks after
I'm over
a while,
here thinking
though.
like it's better the more we have, and you're telling me it's
good
work.
for you though. Yeah, too much of anything.
Fuck? That is true.
They said distilled water is best for you, but not too much.
Not too much of anything. All things in moderation.
All things in moderation.
Guatma Siddhartha, the Buddha, said that on the Noble Eightfold Path and in the Four Noble Truths, that the middle path is the way. In all things, the middle path. Not too much to the left, not too much to the right, not too much to the front, not too much to the back. Not too much high, not too much low.
That's a bar.
For real.
All right, so after you did your mom's jewels and everything.
Jewels by Janet. So we started Jewels by Janet. Me and her was right there when we was doing it because we actually was just sitting there tripping because I had seen my mom, man. Unfortunately, my brother had passed away. My little brother, a person of influence that I grew up having influence over, and then my ignorance, falling into colonial ways, I lost touch with. And my brother ended up passing away, and I get to fulfill my position as an older brother of influence with logical sense to pass on reason to this young man that's transitioning over into manhood. And I was absent during that time. And my brother ended up passing away, and that left a big chasm in me. And then seeing my mother in such despair, this rock in such despair during this time really gave me a extra gear shift. You know what I'm saying? Already in my momentum. So once I got home, we bonded even much more. You know what I'm saying? I had the choices of going other places. Yeah, I moved in with her to stay close to her. And this is before I even got shot. So I didn't want to see her working like she was. I didn't want to see her doing such arduous labor. And I have the information. So I took the information. I'm a visionary. I have a strong imagination. And I looked at something on the wall. I looked at a painting that she had on her wall, and I seen it. And we made the cards from that. So I would have brought it, one of the cards, because it's similar to the painting on the wall, and it's called Jewels by Janet, because the jewels that she gives you, the things, the information that she gives you, the products that she gives you, all beneficial and very valuable to yourself.
Oh, so Jewels and Jewels?
Yeah, Jewels by Janet.
Okay, I get it, yeah.
So by her bestowing this information and these things, everything she does is for care, for empowerment of the next individual, next person that she encounters.
Right.
Everyone she meets, or as in her presence, she leaves better than they were. She leaves them with more information. She gives them something. That's the type of spirit she is. So she's very powerful. And to see her like this, I had to do something as her man, as the man in her life. You know what I mean? As her son. So Jules by Janet, it began the company, and then we first we ended up making the products. I did my own research on the product development. Started making the products myself, manufacturing them, started distributing them, started marketing them. We did the labels, and started going trunk to trunk so I could get a momentum built up with it. Same thing that we doing with this.
And how does do people in your community they fuck with the jewels, or they're more like, we ain't. Oh, okay.
They fuck with me.
So they
fuck with me. So the information that I bring is that I am us. This is where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Everybody say that. Like a lot of brothers, a lot of learned individuals. It's a lot of genius. It's a lot of scholars. A lot of mathematicians. It's a lot of historians that's locked in prison right now. And this circle that I dwelled in, because you have to become wherever you're around, you're gonna become like that. You know what I'm saying? The people you around are gonna reflect you, and you're gonna reflect them. So whatever circle you run in, you're gonna be just like that, and they're gonna be like whatever. You be like you. So I dwelled in those circles with those type of individuals. So being in those type of circles and individuals, they was like, man, you doing all of this, and we got this going. You shouldn't even go back right there, man. You shouldn't go back to the epicenter. You know what I'm saying? To ground zero. I said, that's where I'm from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's where my family at. And what do most indigenous cultures, they send their children out to learn. They send their children out to learn, to bring the information back to the village and the tribe. So in my own, I wasn't prompted yet. I just felt the obligation to my people.
And I remember we had that conversation over the phone, and you had mentioned that you feel like you owe it. You owe it to them.
There is an obligation. There is a duty. There is a duty in all men. There's a duty, especially in all indigenous men under colonialization, to empower your family, to empower your people. There's a duty. There's an obligation. Every man hears the call. Every melanated man hears the call. Is if you ignore it or you choose to follow it. And that's in your everyday life.
Yes, it is. That is
it's in every man's life to live up to
you feel guilty for your past, like what you did, the way you influenced, because you say you've always been an influencer.
Yeah.
So you feel guilty of how you influenced before to
Very
how you
much
influence
so.
now.
I wear it on my shoulders. Yeah. I feel it, yet it doesn't rule me, and it's not me. Yet I have that feeling. I don't live with it. It doesn't fuel me. My drive fuels me. My drive to empower and to create. Because I'm a creator and a visionary more than an idealist. And the idealist at some point, yeah, I'm a realist. I'm a number of things. Because one shouldn't be labeled as one thing. One shouldn't be put into one box. One should fit into the situation that you're in at that moment in time perfectly. Any situation. So you should cultivate yourself in multiple areas to be able to fit into any situation that you put into. Just like water in a cup, water into a vase, water into anything. Take on the shape of where you at.
Yeah, take on the shape from where you, yeah.
Gems.
That's a gem, bro. That's a gem. Jewels by Janet.
Yeah,
That's a
she
jewel.
the one.
By Janet.
She the one.
And you are by Janet.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's deep, bro. You can put it like that.
So where does the Strictly Vegan?
Oh yeah,
where
boom, my bad, bro. So this is all in 2016. I paroled in June 2016. We started pumping Jewels by Janet for the next few months.
Success, it was good.
Yeah, it's a good reception. Good
dope.
reception, bro. Good reception everywhere we went. It's just basically getting it out there and doing the footwork, and then yeah, it was like drugs, because before I went to prison, I was a drug dealer and I was a robber, bro. So I knew how to sell things from the time before I was dealing drugs. I was selling tickets and stuff. I was scalping tickets as a youth. I grew up in the USC area, so I was always at the stadium. I was always in the parking lots at USC. I was always doing that, so I was always parking cars. All the hustles, because as a young age, I hung around older individuals because I always can think fast and I had courage. So that's something that I take a youth far in those type of areas.
Right.
So I always had hustles, doing things, different things. I did a lot of things. And then as I got older, I started selling drugs. And when that dried up at times, I started robbing. But then I started selling drugs and got really good at it to where I had employees and things like that myself. So I was already running a corporation before I was 21 years old. So it just wasn't on paperwork. So
You took all that, switched it over to legal.
Yeah, exactly. Switched it over and went and learned small business law, learned advertisement. I did a semester before I went to prison at Trade Tech for Business 101. Got the interest. Just always had the business mind. So Jules by Janet started pumping that. Then creative difficulties, you know what I'm saying? And that happens. So I relinquished all of that because that was for her. And now I can focus on something else. And that something else was Seeds Growing Families. Seeds Growing Family is our 501c3. We got our 501c3 tax ID number on December 23rd, 2016, which is the birthday of my deceased brother. And we became active on the same day of his birthday. And we started doing that for a while. We basically, Seeds Growing Family is our philanthropic initiative that for community overall wellness in general, community restoration and wellness. What we do is teach homeowners and basically whoever wants to know how to garden, how to preserve your own food. We give nutritional tutorials.
There's a program you run?
Yeah.
Oh, word.
So we do that, and we just looking to get bigger. You feel me? I learned all this from reading books and going out here and applying it. I walked down to the Secretary of State and filed for my own 501c3, incorporated myself, got all my own business license from City Hall. Everything myself, foot by foot, from page with myself reading, and taught my family and my other people around me as much as I can what they already knew. So doing that, and while I was doing that, we started Fifth Element God Apparel. Fifth Element God Apparel is our clothing initiative, is our fashion line that...
Is that what you're wearing right there?
Yeah, that we have, and it's basically geared towards bringing the consciousness of through symbols, through our own ancient symbols that will reactivate in our subconscious of who we are, that activates and sends messages to our DNA subconsciously, because imagery is something that can be passed down through DNA, and it's something that is understood on the subconscious level. So having that knowledge and putting it on your clothes and having something represent where you from, that you made yourself, that is going to empower yourself and your people by looking at an image every day. By looking at an image every day, it affects your subconscious. It puts you in a certain state of vibration. And by looking at this every day or reading this every day, it starts to influence the way that your mind moves and thinks. You know what I'm saying? Who you are, the way you move and think. Because nothing can stop the subconscious mind. It knows no hindrances, no boundaries, no obstacle can stop it. Because the subconscious mind is the infinite intelligence. That's what binds us all. The subconscious is what binds us with animals, plants. It binds all sentient beings. That's what the creator is. We are nothing but cells living on a cell. In the greater scope of things. Once you start really thinking about or trying to open the recesses of your mind up to grasping what we are and who we are and what we are a part of, Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Fifth Element God Apparel is a clothing initiative we started, and we just started selling clothes, pumping it out. Did a few events with us, basically modeling clothes and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And reaching obstacles and hurdles, emotional stuff that I wasn't prepared for when I came home from prison, because I'm the type of guy that just goes, and probably much thinks I know everything, which I probably know a little bit about a lot, yet I really don't know nothing at all.
You still
So-
feel like you don't know nothing at all?
No, I don't know nothing, bro.
Because he was just telling me, like, you think knowledge is infinite?
Knowledge is infinite, bro.
And I was like, I told him, yeah. I'm like, well,
There's no end to it.
yeah.
Everything is mathematical.
My argument was, but if God knows everything, then there is a capacity of what we can know. Even though we don't have the ability to know what He knows, there has to be a capacity.
Why you say God is a he? Why did you even call the creator God? And then why do you believe it's a he?
A creator.
Why does he? Why?
It's unisex.
I believe it.
Truly.
I
I
believe-
truly believe it's unisex, and I don't believe.
Why does it have to have a sex in general? If the God, why does the creator needs to procreate for pleasure reasons or for reproduction reasons?
I think God created us for experience.
I believe that we are the infinite intelligence experiencing itself in this reality. Yet, why would we place our physicality, our humanoid body parts, you know what I mean, to create another humanoid on a superior being? We have body parts for a reason. We have fingers to grab. We have arm. If it is all in all as it at one time, is it just sitting up there fiddling with his balls, scratching his balls and shit? You know what I mean? I don't think so.
We're built by design.
Exactly. Perfect design.
But that's why I was asking, like, do you have an idea, maybe, where we're from, where we come from? What is it?
Stardust.
Stardust?
Yeah.
I'll break
That's
that.
where all things come from.
Break that theory down. I never heard that one.
I can open it up.
Oh yeah.
Basically, an explosion. All right, you had like the Big Bang Theory.
I don't believe in that.
So, if you have an explosion, all right, here you go. If you have an explosion, trace amounts of anything can be on anything, right? From the debris, all those different things. Now, far as life itself being presented in the perfect conditions from a cell level, from a cellular level, from the perfect conditions of life, and life grows from that. Just like it's the same theory of venom. Same thing with venom being brought here. You feel me? Being
Venom?
brought here. Yeah,
The movie.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie.
Oh, I never seen it.
Symbiote being brought here.
yeah. There's how many movies is that same
Yeah.
the same landing of something being brought here, right?
Right.
What is carbon? Do you got carbon in your body?
Do I?
Carbon matter.
Do I?
Yes, we all
Okay.
made of carbon.
I'm stupid, bro.
And it's different levels. And it's different levels. You're not stupid, just uninformed.
Right.
And so on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you can teach me a lot about your area of what you do. You feel me?
Yeah.
You may think have a perception of me for the labors I've paid in gaining the information that I am regurgitating back to you, because most of the information of history itself that I may speak to you is me regurgitating my own consensus that I've drawn from a wide area of information that I've gathered. Yet when I speak about myself or certain practices, those are speaking from experience. Like I can't speak of experience for running this show. Like I wouldn't have in that area. I can learn pretty
Right.
quick. Yet at this moment, I wouldn't be able to speak towards you on a professional or experienced level on this right here.
But this whatever shit, bro.
That's for you. Like
No, I
You feel
no,
me?
I get it, but this shit that you're speaking is
it's perception.
yeah, yeah.
It's perception, bro.
Because this is big.
Yeah.
You know, in general, just the functionality of what you do and everything. You feel me? I haven't done that. I probably can grasp it real quick because I'm intelligent. I mean, I can learn quickly and grasp new things quickly. Yet
Right.
at this moment, I couldn't speak towards that. So the things I have chosen to labor to learn were a choice to learn things that I feel that are of substance that can be relevant to my life and incorporate that I can use as a tool for my mission, which is to empower my immediate people around me and empower those of my immediate demographic, awaken them to better interact with the rest of the humans on the earth and be looked upon as level footing and even footing, you know what I'm saying, in general, and to restore identity. Restore identity to all people, to all indigenous people, to remember all indigenous people around the world.
Do you notice people around you waking up?
Yeah.
How does it?
I believe they already woke. It's just a fog. Everybody is up already. Nobody is really
that's-
It comes
asleep.
to you for a reason, not a coincidence. People that are not woke to it, they don't come that way. It's like they mentally know to steer away, like you too woke, steer away.
I see that a lot, bro. I receive that a lot in the area that I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Being a person of influence before and still, you know what I'm saying? In the area of just being heard. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? People steered away from me from fear. Now people steer away from me now from accountability. The thought of accountability and responsibility within self. Because that's what I call you to. You know what I mean? Because I am a slayer of ignorance. I am the light bringer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In general. Like, I'm merciless on ignorance, bro. In general. So that's what we should fight for. That's what you should turn your murderous rage towards. You know what I'm saying? Your passionate hate for another person that looks just like you. Why is that? Because you have self-hatred within self. That means that you're not comfortable with self. You don't even like how you look. So the first thing to do is to educate you to understand that you were created perfectly how you are. Every human, you was created perfectly. Everything on the earth was created perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Everything is mathematics. Everything on the earth was made to its specific specification of how it was. And where it's supposed to come, where it's supposed to grow at, everything.
Isn't there like a universal number certain number that applies to a lot of things?
Like
360. It's pi, huh?
669, 666,
Oh, 369.
777, all those numbers, they all go together. They all go together. Cause
And they were initially something good, right? But then like the evils that be flip.
666 is
Yeah,
your
flip
DNA, bro. It's like that's
they
who
flip
you
it.
are. Like they got break all that shit up. Like,
Keep you away from the information.
yeah. What is the first thing I would do to tell the indigenous people that if I know spirituality, and culture, and dance, and empowerment, all these things is different. It's dangerous because if you got somebody with an identity, they're more or less inclined to fold.
Yeah.
Because they stand for something. So I'm gonna kill your fucking resistance, save the kids, impregnate the women, and tell you a story that I want you to know to keep you docile. Then, as time goes on, I'm gonna find other ways. I'm gonna give you liquor. I'm gonna do all these other different things until I can develop a way to say, fuck all of that. I can get my money's worth out of you about 10 different ways before you die. You feel me?
Damn.
First, I can feed you this bullshit food that's gonna kill you and fuck up your organs and shit, so you can go to the medical system, which is my buddies, which probably is funneling, which probably is sponsoring the fucking food, really, because they so big, because they've been big since the opioid epidemics. You feel me? Since the opium wars with the British and the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? They've been having this money. It's been having this old money. So these are the same people. Now, you got these people with these ships going over here with these companies to get the opium and bring the opium to, because opium was legal in America in the early 19th century. You know what I'm saying? In the early 20th century, still, they had opium dens. It was nothing. You feel me? So that's how the Roosevelts got all their money, from the opium wars, and they got into politics and had more influence. So now, basically, what do we have now? Epidemic of what in white America?
Opioids.
Fentanyl, which is a synthetic opioid. You feel me? Yet it's the same sensation. They're still eating off of it though. You feel me? Same sensation. They're still eating off the same pleasure.
You kill more people and it's more addictive.
Boom. So you create a person who, okay, now take fentanyl and put it into food. Take not fentanyl itself, but take the ideal of fentanyl and not even the ingredients of fentanyl. No, take what fentanyl is, the addiction, everything to it, a product that they can use to kill you and make money off you because it's gonna fuck your insides up. You're gonna go to a doctor, you're still gonna go buy it, you feel me? You're still gonna die, and we're still making money off of you. You're still a fucked up human being.
Yeah.
So no matter if you're on fentanyl, you're fucking addicted to McDonald's, whatever, it's the same outcome. Yeah. Everything, bro. Everything. We making money off of you, bro, in general. So many different ways. So you bombarded every day with shit attacking you. This is a fucking war, bro. Every day. You're being attacked when you drive down the street, bro. When you look at these fucking billboards, you're being attacked when you hear these fucking radio stations advertise this shit over and over and over and over again. You're being attacked every day when you fucking watching commercials and shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
You're being attacked every day when you go to work, bro.
Oh, work be depressing, bro. Family parties.
It's depressing. It's to be.
No.
Go ahead.
It's not depressing. I mean, it could be depressing if you don't enjoy your job. But I'm talking about it's depressing as far as like just the people there, and just the
no
energy.
one wants to be there, bro.
Yeah. Because
it's go look at Switzerland. Go look at fucking Finland. You feel me? Go look at Norway. Go look at Holland. Amsterdam, Belgium, they don't got this type of same shit going on. They don't got these same type of social issues. Homelessness, high rate crime, fucking pedophiles, sexual molestation, fucking murders, rapes, robberies, drugs, fucking people blowing their heads off at work and shit. None of this shit exists. Why, bro?
Yeah, why?
It's a formula. That's why. It's a formula that has been set millennia ago on how to run a society and have a balanced society. Yet they choose not to for self-accumulation and that fucking minority elite. For self-accumulation. For property, bro. In general. It all breaks down. It's all to the food, to everything. But the first step to changing and creating a better human being, bro, it's a fucking... See, we got to start fortifying ourselves and having the fortifying our minds, I should say, and having the fortitude within our minds to actually setting forth our visionary projections for our next generations. That's the type of men we are. That's the type of man I am. That's the type of man that other men should be. That's the type of man I've grown to become from a fuck up. Because I'm a fuck up and I'm such a success now because I'm the type of guy who has the courage to keep trying. Always. Like they say, the master has failed more times than the fucking novice has even started trying. You feel me? So those are the things we implement. It's the time now for us to live up to a standard, to raise our standards right now as men, because that's the time we're in right now, because we need to really raise a generation of
kings and queens.
Not even just kings and queens, of productive human beings, bro, in the most valuable areas, though. We need engineers. We need computer designers. We need code writers, bro. We need fucking engineers. We need engineers, civil engineers to fucking astronomical engineers. You know what I'm saying? Everything in between. We need fucking fucking warehouse. We need everything, bro. So what's the first step to doing that? Is to change the perception of the babies that's being raised and change the perception of the people. And you change and alter the perception from the food that they're eating because they could change it changes the electrical signals that's being resonated with them because the mucus is coding their cells right now. The mucus is coding their cells, so the electrical signals, which carries information. Electrical signals carry information. That's how the information is transmitted through the human body, is through electrical signals. So if your cells is coated with mucus, then your electrical signal is foggy. Or you might be misfiring. All type of shit. Your neurons that's passing the message in your brain is built on Hot Pockets and Cheetos.
That one hit a lot of y'all too. I know it did.
Yeah.
So
change your diet. It's the thing that we go.
Your diet,
yeah. So just change your lifestyle in general. Alter your lifestyle rather, because here's the thing that I'm a writer as well, and something I wrote, it is change the way you eat, you change the way you think. You change the way you think, you change your actions. You change your actions, you change your environment. You change your immediate environment, you change your collective environment. Just from that step. That's discipline. One more thing. Gautama Siddhartha, the Buddha, the man they called the Buddha. And let's not confuse the Buddha with a celestial being or some type of deity. The Buddha is nothing but a title that any human can ascend to through spiritual cultivation and discipline to receive enlightenment. And you can reach the level of Buddha, which means that you're just one with the infinite intelligence. You're that much more closer. And you're not a slave to your emotions and desires. So that's what that means. Just like Christ. Christ means anointed one, which is another term. It is a different part of the world for the same thing that people play on and use for different reasons. Yet he said that on his journey, he was once asked what did he acquire in his life when he was a young man and he was on an ascetic journey and begging for alms with his bowl. And he had nothing other than his rags on. He said that he replied to the question of what he had gained. And what he had gained, he said, I have gained 3 valuable things. The 3 valuable things I have gained, I could do anything with. These things are, I have learned to fast, which means I can control my hunger. The most strongest impulse is self-preservation in the human being. So I can control my hunger, I can fast, I can think quickly, I can solve problems. And that he can be patient and wait for the things that he endeavored and he put forth to do. With those 3 qualities, with those 3 masteries, he can do anything in life.
It carries on to the next too.
Yeah. That's a whole nother topic.
So you be teaching all the information you have now, do you share it with you guys' kids?
Openly.
And how do they
It depends on the age level.
Depends
on the age level. Our youngest ones, they listen. Our oldest ones, they listen sometimes. The middle ones don't have nothing to do with it right now.
What about
yeah, they all have momentum built up. I just got out in 2016.
I've only been out 3 years.
Yeah, I got out in 2016, and they had a lot of momentum built up of colonial mentality. So it's just a process.
Deprogramming, huh?
It's just a process. That's all.
What about the diet? They kind of opening up?
Now that the momentum is building up more so because they see the consistency that is being, basically this is helping right here. Being this exposure and being on videos and they seeing all that type of stuff. It makes them want to try because that's what they're used to. They see, though they're open to those things. If you want to communicate with a child in this age or even someone of 20-something years old, early 20s, it's texting is better than face or contact. And I'm not from that generation. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't raised like that because when I got my first cell phone, well, I had a Nextel Chirp back before anybody really had church. Cause I was going out of town.
So when you got locked up, you weren't here for the whole iPhone wave, huh? Like you kind of missed it a little bit.
I was here a little bit too. I got locked up in 2005. The end of 2005.
Oh yeah, that's early.
Yeah.
So much shit changed, bro.
I seen iPhones in there. I seen them in there. But
those 10 years, that's a lot of change. That's a lot has
a lot
changed.
has changed, bro. Yeah. Now that's another thing, bro. Let's go to music. The vibrations, bro. Vibrations are another thing that's super powerful, bro.
This one's gonna hurt because I listen to trash shit too. I ain't gonna lie. I won't defend it, but I listen to trash shit.
432.
I do sometimes. Yeah, bro. It's powerful, bro. That's the thing that opens the gateways to the spirits and stuff, bro. It's really vibration of the drum, which is really like the heartbeat, and then the body music does something to your DNA. Like it
Does it really?
Vibrations heal, bro. Even this is ancient practices, bro, where they heal plasma in the blood just from pricking fucking strings on an instrument.
What do you think African drums and instruments made out of? All fruit. Because it's a frequency. 432 is the sound of the universe. Not since converted.
How did they get this information, bro, back then? How did they have all this information thousands of years ago? I want to know that. What time is it?
Intuition.
9:36.
Okay. Yeah. Not even intuition, bro. They got it from within. That's where it all comes from. It comes from within. They go into the darkness. They go into the darkness of the subconscious mind, basically. And
Do you do a lot of meditating?
I have. Yeah. I've done more so in prison. A lot of spiritual and like in-depth spiritual cultivation, ceremonies and practices and initiation. Yet, however, I would say I've built it up to a level now to where for so long I can fall into meditation quickly. I can fall into anything quickly, basically, that I try and endeavor to do. Because once somebody just does so many backflips, bro, like, he can just get up out this chair, like, just look at this right here and just, no hesitation, just, if you know, like a gymnast or something, serious, like, you know what I'm saying? And that can transition. I just say that, to figuratively speaking, to say that can be placed on anything that you do in life, you know what I'm saying? Like anything you got the momentum built up in, the repetition in, you know what I'm saying? Like coming in here doing this show is like nothing. I bet you the first few shows that you did was like, ooh. Yeah. So that's kind of like how meditation and spiritual work is for me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never meditated or tried to. Mm-hmm. You gotta really like focus. I mean, kind of.
It's about like, focusing and not focusing all at one time, basically.
And it's hard too with distractions, or I mean, with like noises around.
I would say the easiest way. No, that's the best time. That's the best time to cultivate your discipline. No. If you already have discipline in that area, though, it'll be difficult for somebody that's just trying to start off and doing it to grasp that, because it's difficult to put in the words and to really grasp it at times, certain things like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all you got, what I would recommend for you, like for as a novice, like, just focus on your breath.
On your breath.
The 4 in count and the 4 out count. A pot belly breath as much as you can and breathe, like, and just because meditation isn't nothing but alleviating all your thoughts and focusing on a point or focusing on nothing. And focusing on nothing comes to the adept meditator. But focusing on one point is for somebody that's starting off, or anybody really that wants to alleviate the chaos and the wilderness mentality that we be experiencing with fucking thoughts and voices and shit be bouncing off your head, and you can't calm down. You might get anxiety, all that type of shit. All that's controlled from the breath. The breath controls everything. The breath is life.
See, I guess my meditating would be weed, which that don't really work. I feel like I'm just. I would say
meditation happens when.
Because everything you just explained, I can make that happen if I smoke a blunt. Yeah, if I take a hit.
When you zone out. When you zone out, that means you're gone, bro. That means like you're not even here right now. That means you drifted off into the subconscious realm. You know what I'm saying? You can have your eyes open and everything. Because you're already creating something else when you drifted off daydreaming and shit. You're not even here. It's like your body's a stalk. It's like you left this right here.
Have you tried any psychedelics?
Yeah. I love shrooms, bro.
And how?
Shrooms have changed my life, bro. From taking shrooms. From eating shrooms, bro, has opened the doorway to fearlessness, to embrace what you know is true. For me, I should say. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of other accomplished individuals in certain areas of life, spiritual development and mental cultivation that are in certain business endeavors and are function on a high level of business and just take life very seriously, has become more focused on that from eating shrooms, bro. Taking psychedelics, DMT, and fucking eating the toad and shit.
Are you done all that?
Nah, I've got the toad, yeah. I want to do it, though.
Yeah.
I want the toad, bro. Oscar Howard, whatever.
You done DMT also?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it just enhanced already kind of which...
It's like shrooms, bro. It's all like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, DMT is nothing but the replicate of the chemicals that we already produce in our brains, bro.
Subspecies of reality.
Yeah, it opens the doorway. It is a fucking frequency shift to me. That's all it really is, bro. It's a frequency shift until what's already here that we are not aware of or unmindful of for some reason or another that we were at some point in our existence as human beings. Somehow we got dumbed down like that. I'm not sure how. I could just have an educated guess from the information I've collected that I would be able to pull from.
Right.
Hell yeah, something happened to us on the massive collective scale. Yet it crept up on us.
I believe we credited them all for gold.
They did something over a period of time, bro. To where now we waking up because if it's nothing like dudes like us come along, there will always be another one born. And J. Edgar Hoover, all those people knew that because that's why they were trying to snuff us out. And that's why they try to snuff us out right now so hard and try to stuff out our lungs, try to snuff out our nuts and shit. You feel me? They know because they know what's going on, bro. It's like fucking, like I said, we're a cell living on a cell, bro. So that means that this cell is a self-sustaining entity, bro. It knows how to kill itself. I mean, it knows how to repair itself. It knows how to correct itself. It has the perfect DNA for its existence, to heal itself. Just like our body has the perfect codes to heal itself. Everything has the perfect code to replicate itself. Every day your body goes to sleep and tries to heal itself from the things that you've done to it, bro. And what society does to it from the pollution, all that type of shit. Every day, bro. So what we do is wake up and hinder that job even more by eating what we eat. You know what I'm saying? And doing what we do. Well, I don't eat it, you know what I'm saying, like that. So I'm saying, like
don't eat that shit.
Yeah, but for real, I mean, as far as on the collective scale, what we eat. So it's fucking us up, and we fucking the next generation up by perpetuating that. You know what I'm saying? And it's that serious. We should be angry about those type of things. As human beings, we should be angry about injustices. You know what I'm saying? Everyone should stand up for injustices at some point because everyone feels the call to stand up for an injustice, but we ignore it because we've been taught and cowed down to ignore it.
Do you think people will ever start really caring? Like
people care now.
No, I don't believe that.
People care now, bro. It's just what you're exposed to.
They don't care enough.
It's what
you said, they can have the whole facts in front of them, and they're not gonna change the way they eat. They're not gonna, none of that. They much rather unfollow whatever they see, and just not feel guilty about it.
True, and I say that is because it's responsibility, bro. That's the main thing that people fuck up with. They fuck up because they don't want to have accountability and responsibility for the things and actions, bro. Because it's just like with the information, bro. Even with spirituality, from the food. From fucking having secrets in your family, people don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about accountability and responsibility. Because once you know about the fucking the secrets in your family, that means that what the fuck you gonna do about it now? You feel me? Or you gonna be a piece of shit, a coward like the rest of these motherfuckers? You feel me? And most of the 85% of people are. And a lot of that has to do with the food. No bullshit.
It goes down to
No bullshit.
It goes down to the food.
You feel me? Your courage, everything, bro. Your courage to stand up to shit in life, the courage to have certain conversations, all that shit can be cultivated or docile or make fucking or stomped down, bro, from your food and the mentality. Because the mentality is gonna persist because it's easy. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. It's not easy to stand up and say for the momentum, like, oh, we always been like this. Fuck it. You feel me? No, it's just fuck it up. We know the outcome of this. We just watched great grandma die of this shit. We just watched grandma die of this shit. We just watched our auntie get fucking a heart attack because of this shit. Yeah, slap some more butter on that shit. Or whatever.
That's what it is though. Like people don't like. That's what I'm saying, bro. They don't care.
I don't care to die old.
They don't care.
Yeah.
We're gonna die anyways,
I'm
bro.
gonna die anyway.
We're gonna die anyway.
Yeah. Let's see till you say that when you get on the fucking hospital bed, bro. I felt like that at point in times. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was invincible. So I got shot, bro. I got shot 5 times. Like I had never had an injury or sustained injuries of that magnitude. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I took life a whole lot more serious, and I even became more adamant and more like fucking just serious about everything.
About everything.
Because it is serious.
Yeah.
So now you don't know animal products at all. You're straight vegan. That's dope. You cook all your food for the most part, huh?
Yeah. Everybody's food, baby.
I want to take this on a lighter note because it's been kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Heat that
For
food
sure.
up. Heat that food up.
So, sorry to interrupt your show here. I'm sure you guys were watching a informative podcast, but I'm here to tell you guys about this food. We didn't get to elaborate much on that, but Strictly Vegan Soulful Foods brought us a plate, and they talked about it right before I interrupted and hijacked this segment. But I'm here to just tell you guys that it was so good that it inspired me to just bring you this beautiful message about their food. You could hear Chris eating on it in the back. I didn't even wait for the review. I just kept eating, and I'm almost done, but I just wanted to let you guys know. Look,
Shit,
see,
fire.
you know, if I was on an island, I could have like 25 meals rotation for the rest of my life. This would be definitely one of them, because I know y'all heard of addictions and stuff, and food can be addicting, and I doubt this has anything addictive in it, but the flavor is like crack. This shit, 10 out of 10, fire content. Oh, and if you're thirsty, dehydrated, you lack pH in your skin, something wrong with you, broken ankle, parched, strep throat, this shit here, it cured all that. That's why I wasn't in the podcast today. It's because I was dealing with things. But we're back. The show's going to be back. I'm going to continue eating this. You guys have a lovely rest of the show.
Alright, so heat that food up. Explain to the viewers what you guys bring for us today.
Today we brought some barbecue rib tips with some creamy mashed potatoes.
And these rib tips
These rib tips
are jackfruit based? No.
Nope. A lot of people do jackfruit based rib tips. I haven't done those yet, which I will just blow out the water once I do them because my recipes are unmatched.
Talk your shit, bro.
They unmatched,
Tell
bro.
Conta V ain't got shit on you.
All the I don't know about that. We don't do that, bro.
I just play. We don't do that. No.
We don't
It's all
do
fun and
that.
jokes. It's all fun and jokes.
We all support, man. We all support.
Hey,
I'd
but
love to
anybody else that's
collaborate
spreading the
good
same
times,
message,
man.
hey, we all for that.
Yeah, because that's one thing that they have perpetuated amongst us and ourselves is separation. When all we doing is restoration and empowerment and unification, and that's all we about. You'll never hear a derogatory term,
Right.
anything. I would never speak down towards another brother doing anything. I hope that all brothers and all indigenous people around the world and all humans of sincere intent in general succeed at all that they do and empowering others. And on the path of self-righteousness and cleansing oneself, I'll support that for sure. I want to see all of us self-sufficient and independent.
So these rib tips.
Yeah, these rib tips.
What is it?
The rib tips are our own signature rib tips that we created, our own patties that we engineered and created. And they are made from brown rice, quinoa, zucchini, coconut milk in there, carrots.
Got your bell peppers.
Red, green, and yellow roasted bell peppers, tomatillos. Yeah, man. A lot of flaxseed, omega-3s.
You guys
Really,
you
really
guys
good.
have any of those patties with you? You can buy. I can buy off you.
I sure was gonna bring some.
Yeah.
It was Russian though. I wish I could.
You mail them out though, right? I can.
Yeah, I sure
for sure,
do,
for
bro.
sure. Hit them up, y'all, on some
forgot.
vegan patty, real
We
vegan
mail
patties.
them out. We got
None of
Strictly
that,
Vegan.
None of that processed Beyond Meat, Impossible Burger.
Oh man.
Even though like I eat that shit, but bro, that shit really is just the same. It's just.
I've tried it before. I've had it.
But
it.
I
and it
prefer
put me-
veggie patties like that.
Yeah, and recently I had it, bro, and I loaded up on it, bro, because I had been eating and I was working hard and I loaded up on it. I woke up, man. It's a good thing for people who enjoy it. Yeah, I think because of the syntheticness of it in general, or the high volume of a synthetic material that they may have used in it, didn't combat with my system.
Right.
At all,
Because
bro.
it's still processed.
Yeah, bro.
And you're eating
I
real
was sweating.
plant-based.
I woke up sweats. Then like sluggish mood.
Yeah.
When I'm like A1 91 premium, ready to go all day. Feel me? So
The addictives was working on them.
something.
Man, the vegan mainstream shit it's just. But you didn't really go or try to do vegan shit for the like animals sort of.
I didn't go for the animal aspect.
That's me too, bro. I was just doing it for my health.
I went for my health,
Yeah.
bro, for a better way of life, man.
But
in general,
it still works out because us being selfish about our health helps the animals out. So
helps the animals out a lot, man. All sentient beings know we should not take any life to eat. We shouldn't, unless necessity, maybe. I'm not sure. It depends on the individual. Yet on the mass scale of killing animals and this horrendous treatment of animals that people are eating and not understanding that the meat that they're eating is tainted by the fear that the animal experiences while it's being killed, and the hormones that this animal excretes into its own muscles when this animal is killed, and it stays there. And it's fear that's projected and put into our DNA as we eat this, and we become what we eat. So the last thing this animal felt as it died was fear of death, a stress state. It's the hormone cortisol that gives us this state of stress and fear. And this is pumped through the animal's body before it dies. And we eat that.
I ain't part of wheat, but yeah.
We ain't part of
We
wheat.
ain't
Like,
eating that. Y'all
on
be
the
eating
collective
that.
scale.
Y'all really be eating that shit.
It's a collective we.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The mass, yeah.
Yeah,
The
man.
average person.
So yeah, we made those patties, air fried them, no grease. Also, house barbecue sauce, and our house recipe on the mashed potatoes.
What was the very first dish you guys?
Wow, that we sold. Maybe the first night, tacos, fajita tacos. It was the first night we started out was at LA Live, bro. We got ran off by the police. Yeah, our first commercial night. We had everything, bro.
And the reception was good there. You guys were getting people pulling up.
Not one sale, bro. Not one.
That's
sale.
how it be, though, man. That's how it be.
Not one sale. Until now, we booking events and right here at the podcast.
Ooh.
Oh, that's the strawberry lemonade right there.
Yo, man, I gotta show the camera this shit. Mashed potatoes and rib tips. Rib tips. Let me see. What I eat in front of y'all. Wow, that's flavors. Okay. Recipe all by you.
Yeah.
Alright.
I did have 3 years of experience as the head cook, feeding the whole yard in the main kitchen in prison. So I had a lot of time to
This shit fire, bro.
I had a lot of time to implement the things I learned from reading and watching a lot of cooking programs. Rachel Ray, Julia Childs, Paula Dean, a number of PBS cooking programs that I studied religiously over years and years in prison. And also being able to cook, like I said, man, over 10,000 hours, man.
Bro, these flavors are ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a house sauce, man. We made the barbecue sauce.
Have you tried this? Bro, this shit crack.
I need to show the camera though.
It's not meat. It's all vegetables.
Strictly vegan soulful food, bro.
Passionate about what we do.
Eat to live.
I like that.
Yeah, we got these hats here that we brought them too. We got merchandise, so you can check in on our Instagram at Strictly Vegan Soulful Foods. We got the merchandise. We got the food. We do deliveries in the greater Los Angeles area. And for a special price with a little more, if you really want it, we will come and deliver it a little further. But we also ship out our patties, and we ship out vacuum sealed burritos. We ship out a number of different products. If it can get in the vacuum seal, it'll get to you.
We also have detox juices.
We have detox juices as well. I always kind of forget that one. We have our key lime and ginger, which is great. Our key lime and ginger is great for high blood pressure, arthritis, skin ailments, hair growth, erectile dysfunction.
Hold on, bro. I don't want to cut you off.
Pressure.
Yeah, you tapped into the juices. I wanted to ask you about that. The aloe vera water, the cayenne pepper. Because I remember you said something about aloe vera water is for like your body's an engine.
Yeah.
You're basically lubing it up.
You basically lubing it up. You don't want the mucus in your body. And so what aloe vera juice does, it has nothing but the pure minerals and electrolytes that our body needs. And if your body is dehydrated, a lot of times when we can't use the restroom, like as far as take a crap, if we don't use the restroom daily, at least 2 to 3 times, and it's difficult when you do go use the restroom after a day or two, that means you're dry. That means you're dehydrated in your body. That means your intestines, the lining of your intestines is dry, and the fecal matter within your body is dry. So that means you have to hydrate it. And one of the best things to hydrate it, and the natural gel that was within the aloe vera hydrates and lubes up your intestines, so you can go to the restroom regularly. And it also lubes up your esophagus when you have acid reflux. It's a great soother of acid reflux and ulcer pain. For ulcer pain, you should drink it real thick. You should concentrate it in more aloe vera, less water, until you have a syrupy consistency, and then drink it, and it will actually relieve your ulcer pain.
That shit dumb, huh? Bro. Bro.
I want to save half of this just so I can do my own little segment at the end. Interrupting here.
Man, this is amazing.
Do what you feel, bro.
This is fire.
Sorry about empowerment.
Where
I'm
We
surprised.
should. That's what I was like. We was talking about last time, bro. We should do a whole thing, man. We should come down to LA, man, and let's.
Hold on, shh. We'll talk about that after.
All right.
Yeah, don't let them know. They're gonna steal the idea. That's cool. But any last words, guys? I really appreciate you guys coming through.
Really appreciate you having us and reaching out and able to put us on the platform to speak.
Man,
and able to come.
All thanks to you guys, bro, because you guys came from LA. You guys sat in traffic. You guys don't know me. You guys don't know. So I appreciate anybody that comes on my show. I feel like I'm forever indebted to you guys. And it's just the beginning of a relationship that we're gonna build. Cause
for sure, bro, it's the beginning, bro. That's it. Because of all things, man, and all things, and all I say is a sincere intention, bro, and that's it. And we forever. You know what I'm saying? We one people.
One last thing, bro.
Oh, we have strawberry lemonade there,
Strawberry
right there.
lemonade?
Strawberry lemonade, man.
Hey, sip on it, because you're going to kill it.
Bro, this is all natural. This is from your garden too, right?
Yeah, those lemons are picked fresh from the tree,
Ooh.
bro.
Ooh.
juice, add a little water, coconut sugar.
What's your views or opinions on Strictly Vegan Soul Food? I know you're part of the business, but what is your take on it?
It's a lifestyle. It's not. It just became. It, it became. It's more of a lifestyle for me now. It's not even a second guess. Like, I was not disciplined as much as I am. It was hard for me to even transition at first, but now that I have transitioned, like I said, it's a great thing. I wake up with more energy.
Fact.
Just a different perception of life. You know, like he spoke about healing generational curses and restoring. And that's actually what I'm doing now, like getting information from my family, just trying to rebuild and restore. So that's where Strictly Vegan has taken me, to just rebuild my legacy, my family legacy, the correct way.
That's fucking beautiful, man. I love it. I love seeing you got a team unity working towards something. It's amazing, man. And TF, where does where does that connection come from?
What?
Childhood.
I didn't want to. I was gonna ask, but I didn't want to assume.
Yeah, same neighborhood, bro. That's it. Basically, we grew up in the same streets, and we all know the same people. Basically, you know what I'm saying? We basically extended family. That's what it's like. It's like a community thing, right? Where we from. It's a demographic of collective cultures. You know what I'm saying? In a small area, from Hispanics to Mexicans to Latinos to Belizeans to Indigenous Americans. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of us over there, and we all grew up together. And like she's from the same area as well. We all grew up together. You know what I mean?
South Central specifically, right?
Yeah, out the Hoovers.
I remember over the phone you had told me that this man was an influence to you, or you got
more. Yeah. Far as later on, and after I left prison, I got to really see and learn more about him, what he was doing, because I was isolated. I was intentionally isolating myself for a long time in prison, just for my studies and for not to be worried about the outside world, to be able to exist where I am in the immediate reality that I was in. You know what I mean? So at times I went 3 years one time for intentionally for not to have a TV, so I wouldn't be indoctrinated. You know what I'm saying? So I can, because that's what's going on. All we need to really do is indoctrinate ourselves with what we want to indoctrinate ourselves with. There is nothing wrong with the word manipulation. It's the intention in the way that you use the word manipulation and the intention behind the actions that you're employing. Let's manipulate our own minds into what we want it to be, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's indoctrinate our own minds, because our minds have been indoctrinated from the time we was born by someone else's intentions. Let's take our own true intentions and re-indoctrinate our minds with that. Spend some time and endeavors doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So when I got out, I got to seeing a lot more about what he was doing, and really got to like, oh yeah, man, he talking. He really speaking about the same thing. Like, I was really hearing, he talking my language. So before, we was in the point of transition. So for our whole point of transition and grinding, starting out Strictly Vegan Soulful Food, he inspired me a lot. And before that, Freeway Rick is the one who inspired me really a lot, because I had the opportunity to meet and work with him on one of his own projects, and he assisted me and Shamika on one of our projects. So, and it didn't fall through. Our designer, not our designer, but our manufacturer of our clothes, we were gonna have a booth, and we were working right next to him, and they didn't bring our clothes. Our clothes wasn't ready in time, so we basically had an empty booth at the Dub Car Show with his booth next to us. But being who we are, we started helping him with his project, helping his project go better than it was, and run smoother than it probably was, lend more hands to his project. So that's just what we do, is not looking for any compensation or anything like that in return. It's just like I said, what he said was strict Compton Vegan. we're not looking we're looking to empower any indigenous person of a sincere intention and structure in what they doing. You know what I'm saying? For betterment. So we went straight to, as soon as that happened, we went to work. We were helping him with his. And that was a great learning experience also for his booth, because he's basically doing the same entrepreneur thing, endeavors that we're doing, just on a different scale. He is selling his vision. He's selling his clothes, his idea, and branding and marketing, and he's selling his story, all those different things. So he's an entrepreneur out here monetizing his life.
Yep.
So we can relate to that. And he actually influenced me a lot in what I'm doing. So by me being humble enough to and not prideful, to be able to learn from an individual, like I said, in the area of something that I may not be as versed in as the individual, to be able to say, hey, I have the strength and the discipline to say that I can learn from you. Let me allow you to apply and do what you're doing so I can observe you. And that's basically what happened. And it gave me some jewels. And I ran with them. And I'm still running with them. So, and as I went along with that, hearing his music, Nipsey Hussle,
that's why
really
I pointed
motivate-
at.
yeah.
I said this man. I didn't mean this man. It's
yeah,
Nipsey Hussle. Yeah.
Nipsey Hussle, with Nipsey Hussle, influenced me a lot with his music, because it's basically speaking the language of an entrepreneur and a person of my same demographic that I can really relate from, because I'm the type of person, if you haven't done or walked the lanes or been where I've been at, because I've been through some dark alleys and I've been through some really golden streets. So if you ain't been through that up and down type of thing, I really can't hear nothing you talking about. So those two played a real big, along with some other individuals in my life, but they are of the same character and cloth. Nonetheless, maybe in a different field, but they are the same character and cloth, have influenced me a lot and are still influencing me, because I can only learn from those who have experienced what I'm going through and experienced what I'm trying to get to. And that's it.
It's an example.
Yeah. So I'm still, I take a lot from what he's doing and what the messages that he's shouted back down from the path he's ascended to. 'Cause that's basically, he's sharing his experiences from the path that he's ascended to.
Right.
What he was ascending to. And we can all take that and just hear it and let it go. Or you can take that, look at it, study it, learn it, and do what you need to do.
Or you could take that and be upset and don't change shit about yourself.
Yeah, man.
So y'all, we about to get out of here. I'm about to grub on this. Any last words, guys? Again.
Eat to live. Strictly Vegan Soulful Foods.
IG. Let them know the IG. Let them know where they can find y'all, pop-ups, anything like that.
Yeah, Venice Beach. We usually be at Venice Beach or Julian Dixon Park on pop-ups, unless we announce something different. Those are the places we usually pop up, because those are the places we affect the best change and we can reach the best crowds, because Venice Beach is the second largest tourist destination in Southern California, and Julian Dixon Park is our home soil where we affect the immediate crowd, the immediate demographic, the immediate collective of the change that we want to affect immediately. So affecting change with self and viewing self as all. View self as the collective. The collective is self. So once you start valuing self and loving self, that means you can love the next human being. That means that you see yourself within the next human being, within the next sentient being, any sentient being. So loving self, valuing self as a sentient being will allow you to respect and see and love the other sentient beings around you in the proper manner.
And we're going to leave it like that, man. Abasi, Meeka, Strictly Vegan Soulful Food, Overly Blunt Podcast. We out of here.
Abasi.
Oh, man, I fucked that up, man.
Trev, we got you.
It's a lifelong thing, bro.
You know
Welcome
funny?
to the club.
You know what's funny? I had it in my head, too, like, I'm going to say it right. And I still fucked up.
Abasi.
And then you guys didn't say nothing, so I'm feeling like, okay, cool, I got it. And then you guys...
It's like, whatever.
Strictly... Nah, it's not whatever, bro. How do you say it? Abasi.
Go.
Abasi and Meeka, Strictly Vegan Soulful Food.
Got you.
Overly Blunt
Appreciate you,
Podcast,
bro.
man. We out of here. Thank you guys so much.
Love and respect.